Overview of Internet Security. In this video, we are going to see about the overview of Internet security. Internet is a vast world of several computers in a very large network. The three words vast, several, and very large don't allow us to deny the importance of security in the field of data communication and networking. Internet security is used to protect websites and other electronic files from being attacked by hackers and viruses. Security concerns are in some ways peripheral to normal business working, but serve to highlight just how important it is that business users feel confident when using IT systems. Simply because cybercriminals know that a successful attack is very profitable and security will probably always be high on IT systems. Thus, it means that cybercriminals will always strive hard to find new ways around IT security, and users will consequently need to be continually vigilant. In the computer industry, Internet security refers to the techniques for ensuring the data stored in a computer cannot be read or compromised by any individuals without authorization. Most security measures involve data encryption and passwords. When a computer connects to a network and begins communicating with others, it is taking a risk. Internet security involves the protection of a computer's internet account and files from intrusion of an unknown user. Basic security measures, which involves protection by passwords, a secret word or a phrase, giving user access to system or program, change of file permissions, and backup of computer's data. Aspects and need of security. Now we are going to see the video of aspects and need of security. The information security picture is changing and threats are expanding. Our business practices are being transformed and many security products are evolving. These changes must be a part of our strategic thinking for the future. Changing threats and consequences. The fight is not against pranksters anymore, but well-financed and highly motivated criminals. We still must protect against email viruses, but are now more concerned about web-based malicious software, self-propagating worms, attacks on vulnerable applications. Changing business needs. The primary customers for electronic services are no longer state employees, but citizens, organizations, and business partners. To provide these services, users concentrate valued information in large database linked to applications open to people all over the world. User must show close attention to server configuration, application security, system and application patches, authentication and authorization, malicious traffic, and other things that may not have been big concerns before. New tools and methods needed. User still needs to filter out spam and email viruses and install border protections. User must also filter out malicious websites, apply patches quickly, develop secure applications, lock down desktop, implement secure configurations, remove unnecessary services from servers, use strong authentication, train employees, isolate data stored, and more. Vendor products, services, and pricing are changing. There is a trend toward bundling security tools and requiring purchase of the bundle. Vendors are providing discounts when only their products are used, even when it is contrary to best practice, Example, using two different antivirus vendor products. Products which used for long years are no longer top performers. As product lines expand, support seems to decline and vendors push for long-term contracts to lock customers in. There is little price competition except with a large volume purchase. Vendors are getting better at identifying threats and quickly updating their products to stop them. Core security products are becoming commodities with many customers changing products regularly rather than staying with the same product year after year. Security needs to be strategic. Security is not an extra cost add-on. It must become part of the core service delivery requirements. Expecting all agencies to learn about, choose, implement, manage, and maintain new security measures independently is inefficient and costly. Users need to develop long-term strategies that accomplish goals and then figure out how to achieve them. Working collaboratively and strategically, users can improve security, reduce workloads, and save money. Email threats and secure email. Now let us see the process of email threats and secure email. Email, when sent across the internet, is more like a postcard. It can be intercepted at any stage and read by anybody who can lay his hand on it. To ensure the secrecy of the message, the sender as well as the receiver should agree on this secret key. There starts a problem. If user's intended recipient is in faraway country, then user having to distribute the key first to him before user can send him the message. And it presents a logistical problem. Public key cryptography was designed to overcome this problem through what is known as public key private key pair. Another way to ensure the secrecy of the email messages is through the use of a technique called signing a message. Web security and privacy concepts. The control panel of our system provides us with internet options where we can set the level of privacy and security of our web browsers. Using security options, user can block certain unwanted and unsecure sites. Using privacy option, user can select the zone for blocking cookies as per the requirements. What are cookies? The term cookie is derived from magic cookie, a well-known concept in Unix computing. In simple computing terms, a cookie is a small string of text stored on a user's computer by a web browser. Cookie is a message given to a web browser by a web server which is stored by the browser in a text file. The message is then sent back to the server each time the browser requests a page from the server. The main purpose of cookies is to identify users and possibly prepare customized web pages for them. Websites use cookies for different reasons. To collect demographic information about who is visiting the website. To personalize the user's experience on the website, cookies help to store personal information about you so that when you return to the site, you have a more personalized experience. To monitor advertisements. Thus, cookies are text files that can be deleted at any time. They cannot be used to spread virus and can't access your hard drive. Cookies do not act maliciously on computer systems. The Simple Network Management Protocol. The Simple Network Management Protocol is a framework for managing devices in an internet using the TCP/IP protocol suite. It provides a set of fundamental operations for monitoring and maintaining on internet. The SNMP uses the concept of a manager and agent. A manager is a host that runs the SNMP client program. A manager is a host that runs the SNMP server program. Management is done through simple interaction between manager and agent. The agent keeps performance information in a database. The manager has access to values in the database. SNMP is an application-level protocol in which a few manager stations control a set of agents. The protocol is designed at the application level so that it can monitor devices made by different manufacturers and installed on different physical networks. SNMP frees the management tasks from both the physical characteristics of the managed devices and underlying networking technology. Management with SNMP is based on three basic ideas. A manager checks an agent by requesting information that reflects the behavior of the agent. A manager forces an agent to perform a task by resulting values in agent database. An agent contributes to the management process by warning the manager of an unusual situation. Role of SNMP. SNMP has some very specific roles in network management. It defines the format of the packet to be sent from a manager to an agent. It also interprets a result and creates statistics. The packets exchanged contain the object variable names and their status, that is values. SNMP is responsible for reading and changing these values. VPN. Virtual Private Network allows a computer to connect to a corporate LAN over the Internet. Virtual Private Network is an extremely important technology that is in widespread use. A VPN is carried over a shared or public network, which is almost always the Internet, and encrypts the message so that only the VPN client and server can access it. The cost of VPN connections are much less than dedicated connections such as WAN technologies because they take advantage of the efficiency of the Internet without compromising security. VPN connections. These connections are used in two important ways. To establish WAN connection using VPN technology between two distant networks that may be thousands of miles apart, but where each has some way of accessing the Internet. To establish remote access connections that enable remote users to access a private network through a public network like the Internet. VPNs support WAN connection in the same way as they support a remote access connection. VPN protocols. VPN connection must be connected to the Internet using point-to-point protocols. Both sides must have a networking protocol in common. This protocol is usually IP, but can also be IPX, NetBEUI, or AppleTalk. Both sides must set up a tunnel through their existing PPP connections through which their data packets will pass. The tunnel is formed using a tunneling protocol. The three important tunneling protocols used for VPNs are point-to-point tunneling protocol, Layer 2 tunneling protocol, and Internet Protocol Security. VPN client. VPN connection of both sides must be running compatible VPN software compatible protocols. For a remote access VPN solution, the software you install depends on the VPN itself. Dedicated VPN solutions also sell client software that you can distribute to users. What is firewall? In this video, we are going to see about what is firewall. A computer network is a collection of autonomous computing devices sharing data communications technology that enables them to exchange information. An internetwork is a set of individual networks interconnected by the appropriate devices in such a way that they can behave as a single larger network. These definitions are built around the ideas of providing connectivity and making information exchange possible, two goals achieved with undoubted success. Internetworking has definitely changed the way people live, learn, play, and work. This is poetic and appealing, but it is always important to remember that Internet also brings to the scene dangerous features such as anonymity, the ability to remotely control computers, and automated task execution. There should be some means to compensate for the absence of natural boundaries in the Internet. With the realm of computer networks, a firewall is a security system that lends itself to the task of isolating areas of the network and delimiting domains of trust. Building upon this initial state of isolation created by the firewall, access control policies that specify the traffic types entitled to go from one domain to another can be defined. The firewall acts as a sort of conditional gateway. The criteria to permit traffic normally defined in the firewall policy and ideally should relate to what is stated in the security policy of the organization. Internet security and management concepts. In this video, we are going to see about Internet security and management concepts. In Internet, as you know, that we are basically connecting our computer system to another computer system. There is every likelihood that while doing this, some unauthorized person can also get into it and access data. Manipulating security becomes more important when we use computer as commercial transaction. User needs to make sure that messages are private and financial transactions are secure. Authentication. It is the process of determining identity of a user who is attempting to access a system. Also for security purpose, the verification and identity of a person or process is necessary. Thus, it is a verification process of the user's claim of identity by passwords, personal challenge, response calculation, or random password generator. Authentication methods. There are two primary models for token-based user authentication systems. One-time password systems, challenge or response systems. One-time password systems. The user token displays a current password which the user enters in any context that would require a conventional password. The server system can calculate a password on demand and verify the authentication request. Challenge or response systems. The user first receives a challenge generated by the authentication server. The challenge is then copied by the user into his token. The token then calculates and displays a response which depends on the challenge. The user then copies this response back into the application, prompting for authentication information. The server system calculates the expected response and compares with the response submitted by the user. Since challenges are generated random by the server, attacks associated with replaying authentication information are an issue for a well-designed system. As the result, the server does not need to retain the information regarding which passwords have been used. Some of the authentication methods are given in the following subsections. Passwords. Passwords are the most common form of computer security. Some networks require multiple levels of passwords to gain access to various servers or databases. Callback. Call is a security feature that works like when a user dials into a communications server and enters the username and password. The communications server then hangs up the modem connection, searches its database to authenticate the user, and then calls the user back at a predefined number. Packet filters. Packet filters allow network administrator to limit a user's access to specific services on the network. For example, a user may be allowed to send electronic mail but not copy data files from the network. Authentication servers. They can be set up in a variety of ways depending on the security scheme of the network they are serving. The basic process of authenticating a user includes the following steps. A user dials into a network through a communication server or network access server (NAS). The NAS forwards the user identification and password to the authentication server. Then the authentication server validates the user and provides access privileges to the network. Radius, Remote Authentication Dial-up User Service. Radius is a system of distributed security that solves the problems associated with meeting the security requirements of remote computing. The solution eliminates the need of hardware and provides access to a variety of state-of-the-art security solutions. Distributed security separates user-authenticated data and authorization from the communications process and creates a single central location for user authentication data. Radius is freely available distributed security system developed by Lucent Technologies. Radius provides an open and scalable client-server security system. Authorization. Authorization is the process of determining how an authenticated user is permitted to use specific resources. An authorization mechanism automatically enforces a management policy regarding resources object use. For example, in a computer system, resources typically include data files, operator commands, transaction I/O devices, and program process. The specific rules for authorizing access to data objects usually enforce confidentiality and integrity by either granting or denying access to read, modify, or create data records, and by controlling the creation or deletion of data objects. Authorization grants privileges to processes and users. Authorization lets a security administrators control part of a network, for example, directories and files on servers. Auditing and accountability. Auditing is the process of data collection and analysis that allows administrators and others, such as IT auditors, to verify that the user and authorization rules are producing the intended results or defined in a company's business and security policy. Individual accountability for attempts to violate the intended policy depends on monitoring relevant security events, which initiates the auditing feedback reporting loop. The monitoring process can be implemented as a continuous automatic function as an occasional verification that proper procedures are being followed. The auditing information may be used by security administrators, internal audit personnel, external auditors, government regulatory officials, and in legal proceedings. To effectively analyze the security of a network and to respond to security incidents, procedures should be established for collecting network activity data. Information privacy. Let us see the video of information privacy. Privacy means the concept in which the user data files such as stored files, emails, etc. are not seen by any other persons without the user's permission. It is a private communication accomplished when the sender and intended receiver can read the message. Email privacy. When you send an email, the message is broken into several packets and each packet is sent through the internet. Number of packets are dependent of the message. Each packet which is sent over the internet has internet address of the sender and recipient's address. Packets of the single message may take different systems. This means the content of the message and the address of the sender and receiver are examined by all the systems through which each packet is routed. So, in the absence of code and protection, email could be very public. Most of the system administrators adopt a code under which they will not examine someone's email. Electronic Communication Privacy Act. Electronic Communication Privacy Act passed on 1986 for the privacy of email. It prohibits anyone to access email messages without sender's permission. It also prohibits individuals' private access by government officer without legal permission. This act allows system administrator to examine email message only when it is necessary for any operation or the security of the system. Encryption. When you send a message to someone, the message is transmitted in the same form you have typed it, whether it is illegal for someone to read it or not. One way to avoid this, use encryption in which message is sent to the receiver in some secret code. The message can't be read unless the code and the method of encryption is known to reader. This code is called key. The reader must know the key to decode the message for reading. Copyright issues. In this video, we are going to see about copyright issues. There are a tremendous number of files, documents, and images available on the internet. They can be viewed, saved in a file, print, and passed on to others. We can create copy of any information which we can find on the internet only when it is legal for doing so. The right to copy or duplicate materials can be granted only by the owner of the information. This is called the copyright. Many documents or fields on the internet contain a statement that shows the document is copyrighted. Cryptography. In this video, we are going to see about cryptography. Cryptography. The word crypto is derived from the Greek word called kryptos. Cryptography is the method of storing and transmitting data in a particular form so that only those for whom it is intended can read and process it. The term is most often associated with scrambling plain text, ordinary text, sometimes referred to as clear text, into ciphertext, a process called encryption, then back again, known as decryption. Plain text. In cryptography, plain text refers to any message that is not encrypted, contrast with ciphertext. Plain text refers to textual data in ASCII format. Plain text is the most portable format because it is supported by their every application and machine. Encryption. Encryption is the conversion of data into some other format using the key called a ciphertext that cannot be easily understood by unauthorized people. To read an encrypted file, you must have an access right to the secret key that enables you to decrypt it. Encryption is the effective way to achieve data security. Ciphers. Ciphers are a secret system of writing that you or we use to send message. It is an algorithm for converting plain text to ciphertext. In the cipher, data has been encrypted. Ciphertext. Ciphertext or ciphertext is the result of encryption performed on plain text using an algorithm called a cipher. Here, the plain text is encrypted with shared secret key and converted into a ciphertext. Decryption. Decryption is the process of converting encrypted data back into its original form so it can be understood. Decryption is the reverse process of encryption that converts the ciphertext into plain text information that has been encrypted in secret format. Decryption requires a secret key to recover information. Key. A key is a variable or value that are applied using an algorithm to a string or block of plain text to produce encrypted text or to decrypt the encrypted text. The information, that is key, used in cipher is known to sender or receiver only. The length of the key is a factor in considering how difficult it will be to decrypt the text in a given message. Cryptanalysis. Cryptanalysis refers to the study of ciphers, ciphertext, or cryptosystems for finding the plain text and/or key. Cryptanalysis is the decryption and analysis of codes, ciphers, or encrypted text. Cryptanalysis uses mathematical formulas to search for algorithm vulnerabilities and break into cryptography or information security systems. Cryptology. Cryptology is the study of mathematics, linguistics, and other coding patterns. Cryptology is equal to cryptography plus cryptanalysis. Cryptology as number theory and its application of formulas and algorithms which underpin the cryptography and cryptanalysis.